All right, so look, we did complex numbers on Friday. You guys added and subtracted. You did phenomenal with it because you're great with real numbers and x terms. So imaginary real terms aren't that stretch. It's not a stretch for you guys. So you did great with it. Okay, I did go over vertical, horizontal, and like brain power. They're all equally popular, so you just have to figure out what you prefer. Okay, so if I do number 8, -6 is a real number. Negative, and then in parentheses 7i, so that's an imaginary. And then +1 plus 3i, go ahead and add down. That is -5 minus 4i, and so there is, if you preferred vertical format. Horizontal format, remember, is just, if you write it horizontally, but you rewrite to distribute, you rewrite to drop the parentheses. I'm going to run out of space, but -6 minus 7i plus 1 plus 3i. And then after, you just have to make sure you can identify your like terms. Real numbers with real numbers, imaginary with imaginary. That's it. It's just adding and subtracting. Be careful with your negative. Okay? Brain power is just you going through and saying, okay, that's a -7, this is a +1, and you just doing the math with while you're looking at it. Okay, so you don't want to do any extra math, you just look through it. Okay, all right, number 9 is now multiplication. Okay, so this is the biggest. Okay, this is a mix-up students do. All right. If you guys look at 1 through 8, or just 1 and 2, okay, see how there's parentheses here? See how there's an operational symbol in the middle? In the middle, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, right? You guys see how there's like a plus or a minus in between those two parentheses? Yes? That's adding and subtracting. Okay. So, if you guys look at number 9, right? If you guys look at that, see how the parenthesis and the parenthesis are tight on one another? There is no operational symbol in between. You see how there's no plus, there's no minus? The two parentheses are right next to each other. That means you distribute or you multiply. You're not adding and subtracting, so do not give me -8 plus 13i. It's 0 credit. You have to FOIL. You have to distributive property. Okay, so for those of you that like box method, I'll do it afterwards. Okay, so what's -1 times -7? Yes. What's -1 times +5i? -5i. What is 8i times -7? Yes. Good job, Dylan. And what's 8 times... Okay, so here's the thing. So this is a new part. Okay, so what's +8 times +5 multiplied together? 40. But then this is a new part. So new. What is I times I?
Double I.
Yes, so what's x times x? X squared. So what is I times I? I squared. Okay, so this is what's new. I squared is -1 as an integer that you need to substitute. You need to replace. So I have a +7. This here, like terms, is -61i, but this is really 40 times -1. So what's 40 times -1? -40, because I have to now replace that I squared with a -1. You have to. And now you're going to combine it with that 7, and so it's -33 minus 61i. So you're going to FOIL all the same, you're going to distribute all the same, but when you get to that I squared, you switch the sign to that coefficient because it's a multiplication of -1. Okay, let me cut the video because I'm going to do another one, but I know I did, just so it's not too long. And that way it uploads quickly. Okay, so let me stop it. I'll show it. So